Hey everyone, Meet Kevin here. Big news, the House just slam dunked a bill by a vote of 417 to 1. The House has passed a new flexibility bill that essentially creates another opportunity for you to get free stimulus money if you are self-employed or you are a small business. If you are not self-employed, you do not have a side hustle, or you are not a small business, this video is not for you. In that case, just go to the links below, get your life insurance, get your 2 free stocks with Webull when you deposit $100, 2 free stocks up to $1,400, and of course sign up for the programs. Coupon code does end at the end of this month. Then you could leave. You should go watch Lauren's vlog that she posted 2 days ago. She's posting a new vlog tomorrow. So go support Meet Lauren's channel and smash that like button and subscribe to her channel. But big news on what the House just passed. By the way, this is expected to be passed by the Senate. The Senate will be back next week, so we're expecting them to sign this sometime next week. Donald Trump is expected to sign off on this as well. This is something that a lot of businesses have been clamoring for. Donald Trump has already expressed his openness to some of these changes, and now I think this is really just a formality. This is really, really good news. Here's the scoop. Oh, and keep in mind, if you're discouraged because you're like, oh, wait, Kevin, you know, I don't have an S corporation, or I don't have an LLC, or I don't have an official entity, it doesn't matter. You can apply for this as well. And when I say it, I worry that I'm going to lose some of you because you're going to get discouraged because this old program sucked. This is the Flexibility for the Paycheck Protection Program Act. And yes, that is the act that I have slammed notoriously for being a ripoff, because it's so hard to spend the money within an 8-week period, to spend 75% of your money on payroll and 25% on other things. The forgiveness application was like 11 pages long. So many problems were related to the original PPP rules that it kind of made sense why a lot of us are like, I ain't touching that. I don't care if it's free money, I don't want to deal with it. Well, these new rules change a lot, and you just want to hear these out. Also, remember, one of the old things that was a big problem as well was if you didn't get forgiveness, like if you didn't get your loan fully forgiven, you would owe the rest of the money back within 2 years, which means if you deferred payments on it for 1 year, all of a sudden you would have to pay off a loan that all of a sudden the government said you owe back within a year, which is a really, really short fuse. Well, they changed rules on that as well. So, in the meantime, I do also encourage you, I'm going to go through the changes here, but I do encourage you to go to Kabbage. This is not sponsored. Want to make this clear, I'm not sponsored by Kabbage, but Kabbage has a really simple application process. I actually personally applied through the Kabbage.com website. That's Kabbage with a K. I applied for the PPP loan. It took me about 10 minutes to apply for it, and then they emailed me asking for documentation. Keep in mind, again, even if you don't have a formal structure, you could still apply for the PPP if you're self-employed, you have a business that was established prior to February 15th, and this even applies if you are a sole proprietor, if you're just putting money into your personal checking account. It's going to be more complicated to provide your information, but remember, the Treasury Department puts the onus on you. So if you give Kabbage and you upload bank statements to them going, look, my income was this, my payroll was this, these were my expenses, here's my pay, and you submit that, it's the lender's job to do whatever they can to help you get the money. They're not trying to screw you out of this free money. The Treasury Department has been very, very clear that lenders ought to work with you. They're not trying to screw you out of being able to qualify for this, so it is worth your time, especially with these new rule changes. Now let's talk about these new rule changes that we're expecting to be law by next week, but I do encourage you apply now because remember, there's only so much money left in this program. Okay, here are the new rule changes. Let's go ahead and get rid of my little picture-in-picture there in the corner. Okay, so here are the new rule changes. Instead of 8 weeks to spend the money, you can now spend the money over 24 weeks. That's 6 times the time that you now have to spend the money. Also, instead of spending 75% of the money on payroll, you're only required to spend 60% on payroll, and you could spend the other 40% on things like rent, utilities, or other approved expenses, such as employee-sponsored health insurance premiums, which remember, one of the big benefits of being self-employed is we get to pay for our own health insurance, but we get to write it off. It's not really a benefit that we get to pay for our own health insurance, I guess, but it's a benefit that we get to write it off. I mean, everybody's tax situation is different, so always consult your CPA, but I do encourage you remember that, hey, self-employed people get to write off their health insurance. That's a big benefit. So if you could build this into that payroll side, you're gonna have more money left over for utilities and rent, business equipment and, working capital. Check with the lender though, see what rules they have for how you could spend that other 40%. But this is a big flex they just gave here. 24 weeks, big flex on how to divide up the free money. Remember, it's a forgivable loan. It's basically free money, no collateral required. They also extended the loan maturity from that 2-year period, which was a ripoff, to 5 years. So that way, if for whatever reason a little part of your loan is not forgiven, you have 5 years to pay it back. But wait, there's more. And gosh, that sounds so cheesy, but I'm serious. This is really, really important. Okay. Remember the old rule said you had to hire people back, that is employees, by June 30th. And keep in mind, if you're like, Kevin, I didn't have any employees to begin with, well, that's okay. Then your employment count didn't change. Then this doesn't apply to you. You wouldn't have to worry about this. The old rule was if you had, let's say, 100 employees and you went down to 50 employees, you would have less of your loan forgiven. There's like a proportion of your loan that would not get forgiven unless you hired those people back by June 30th. Well, now they extended that by 6 months to December 31st, and wait for it, this is big. There are exceptions to the rule. Here they are. They say if you had somebody that was an employee that was working to you before, it actually says on or before February 15th, 2020, but you can't rehire them, but you're able to, quote, demonstrate an inability to hire similarly qualified employees by December 31st, or you're able to, quote, demonstrate an inability to return to the same level of business activity that you were operating at before, that forgiveness rule has an exemption. So you might not have to hire these people back. In simple English, and me not reading those quotes, let's make that very simple. There are now 2 loopholes. If you don't rehire the same amount of people, you now have 2 loopholes to not lose your loan forgiveness, like a portion of your loan forgiveness. Loophole number 1, you were unable to hire similarly qualified employees by December 31st. And loophole number 2, you're unable to get back to the same level of business. This is really, really big. Oh my gosh, folks, seriously, if you are self-employed, you have a side hustle, you're an independent contractor, you're a 1099, I don't care what you are. If your income has gone down, folks, you need to go to Kabbage.com and apply. I promise you I honestly, for this video, I really wish I was sponsored. I'm only sponsored by the life insurance company that I linked down below, which I believe in. Webull with the 2 free stocks. When you deposit $100, you get up to $1,400 in free stocks. Believe in that. I obviously believe in my own products. I wish I was sponsored by Kabbage, but I'm not. You should do this. PayPal has some as well, I believe. You could go to credit unions. There's still other companies accepting, but this money is drying up. Gosh, this sounds so like sleazy, like I'm trying to like pressure you to sign up for the PPP. I think the reason I'm doing this is because I see a lot of businesses in my town, the businesses who are using the PPP are milking business right now. Like they are using this as an opportunity to grow their business. And the people that are like, I don't want to deal with the hassle of the PPP, they're suffering. Like they're getting screwed. And with these new loose rules, come on folks, if you can't beat them, join them. Get the free money. And again, I did not take the free money because my income has gone up. Y'all have been extremely supportive of this channel, and I don't know what it is, but apparently a lot of ya have enjoyed my program so much that you've told your friends about them, and your friends have been buying the program as well, which obviously I am extremely grateful for and thankful for. Lauren is thankful for. Jack and Max are thankful for.